Hi, it's me again with Corel tips and tricks. I've been going back and forth with somebody about this, and they finally sent me the Corel file, but it's not a vector file. That's why they cannot ungroup it to change anything, because it's just a fuzzy bitmap type. They sent it as a PNG first, and they sent it as SVG, and I thought, well, maybe he has the real. So it's just not going to work. You can't You can't manipulate. See the bounding box, the gray bounding box. Now he said he wanted to make some changes. There are only like one, two, three, four different. Well, four different symbols. So what I would do instead of trying to do this whole thing, I would go to the crop tool and I would crop. Make sure we get that one. We've got that one, and that one, and crop it. Now you just have that. Now you could actually crop it some more to work on individually. This is going to be a little bit of a problem in this one because it's got a shadow. Um, I'm gonna make a duplicate of that. Well, first of all, I'm going to delete that duplicate and I'm going to change it to 3 inches. And for the one I'm doing this for, change your nudge factor to 0, 0. Your duplicate distance to 0, 0. You'll be a lot happier. Now, I still can't ungroup it because it's a bitmap, but I can crop it a little bit more. I can take the crop tool and crop out this midway, which is going to be the most important part. And we can even go beyond that with the crop tool and get these edges. Well, just go ahead and crop it. And then we can use a shape tool on the crop and we could add nodes. This is going to save Corel time and not have to trace those little dots. So I'm just making nodes on the other side of those dots. So I have like 3 corners. Takes just a little bit of time. I'm just double clicking on the line and it's going to have Corel save a lot of time. Now we're going to take this and go up to trace bitmap, outline trace, clip art. And I think it looks pretty good. Now, I've got my nudge factor set way too big now, but we could clean it up a little bit. Well, it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. Tell you what, let's try tracing it again with some other trace, outline trace. Let's say low quality image. Tell you what, and let's go remove color from entire image. And let's nudge it over twice and then look at it. No, this would almost be an easy way to learn to redraw this just from scratch. Because see, now that it's traced, you can go to group and ungroup it. And you can pull things out of there. But before that, so these 3 are going to be easy. So let's just trace this whole thing. And then maybe I'll make a second video on maybe how to recreate that. See, these are going to be easy. So here's your trace version. I'm going to go to object, order, or group and ungroup it. And I'm going to get rid of that one and all this. And this is the same as the other one. So there's the 3. And let's look at it with a yellow box trick. Well, object, order, backup page. There's really no white except for that one spot. And they could be, there's a bunch of trash though from the other ones. So make sure you get rid of all that. we can just delete that. Now you could recreate these, like this one looks pretty good. That's an oval. You could recreate this really easy. Well, let's do that on this video. Let's take this symbol and hit P to put it in the center of the page. And let's do this. And I don't know, that might be satisfactory. So let's left click, right click. See, there's problems. I'm going to make them a hairline. There's double, go up to object, break the curve apart. Whenever you don't have a group, you can break the curve apart. Now what I'm going to do is take a 2-point line. And see, he draws in 2 millimeters. And I want to draw in a hairline. And this side looks better to me, so I'm going to take my virtual segment delete key and just delete this side. Try not to get the circle. I actually think the circle ought to be round. So if we take a ellipse, get right there in the center, man, I could not draw in 2 millimeters. I'm going to change that. I double clicked on your pen tool. I'm going to draw in a hairline. I'm actually going to draw in red. Now he might be a printer, but he can change the color. And see how much easier this is going to be. I'm going to hold down the shift and the control button. So I'm making a circle about the size of that circle, and I'm going to get rid of the old one. And I'm going to clean the outside of this up a little bit. I don't know what it's supposed to look like, and I might be going, overboard. Let's get rid of these nodes. See, it just made a smoother, transition. And you could cut it again in half, but we're not going to go there. I'm going to take away my line now by hitting delete. I'm going to grab this, Control D, and make a duplicate. And that's why you want your settings on 0, 0. Now, that might not be perfect, but he can play with that. And then I'm going to fill that in with black. So now you have a very good vector trace of that. And the other one is good. This one needs a little bit of help. But all that is, well, we're not even going to use that. I'm going to use this. So I'm going to make a copy of that. So we have that. And on this one, I'm actually going to use the polygon tool, set on 4 sides, and I'm going to kind of make a diamond. And then if I go here, shift select that and go EC and put it right in the center. Now this one, I guess it did have a dot. Yes, it's got a dot in the center. This one here, we're going to do just the opposite. I'm going to take away, it's kind of hard to grab, but if you grab and don't grab your box, I'm going to take away, see, this is where the hairline is going to help you. And then take your smart fill tool and fill that in and that in. And then I would definitely take away the outline by right clicking. So there's your 3 logos. Get rid of that one. And you've got your three logos done. And you'll be able to manipulate them however you want around there. I'm going to try to make a second video on creating this. Anyway, I hope that helped him a little bit. Thank you for watching.